The year is 2025. The world's attention is fixed on the US and China, not just for their economic or military rivalry, but for their battle over knowledge and technology. The new front line, America's university campuses. Here, hundreds of thousands of Chinese students pursue degrees in everything from engineering to business. But a question hangs in the air. Are these students simply here to learn, or is there a deeper agenda? This debate touches on national security, economic competition, and academic freedom. Some US officials see a threat, fearing Chinese students could be conduits for sensitive information. University leaders, meanwhile, argue that international students enrich campuses and drive research. The technologies developed in these labs, AI, quantum computing, advanced materials, could define the century. The fear American taxpayer-funded research could end up in the hands of a strategic rival. This is forcing America to reconsider what it means to be an open society in a time of global competition. With over 600,000 Chinese nationals on student and exchange visas, the stakes are high. Their future, and the future of US-China academic collaboration, hangs in the balance. We need to look past the headlines and understand what's really happening behind the ivy-covered walls. The story is more complex than it seems. As tensions rise between Washington and Beijing, every policy and interaction is scrutinized. The presence of so many Chinese students is now a central part of this dynamic. The debate is urgent, and the outcome could shape the future of both nations. What happens on these campuses may determine who leads the world in the decades ahead. Let's dig deeper. Brent Sadler, a former Pentagon official, sounded the alarm. The large population of Chinese students in the US could be a fact-finding mission. He suggests this isn't just about education. It could be a coordinated effort by the Chinese Communist Party to acquire American technology and intellectual property. The risk, he argues, is immense, especially in STEM fields where the US leads. Even if only a small fraction of students are coerced or willing to work for Chinese intelligence, the potential damage is significant. Sadler's warning echoes concerns from the Trump era, when policies targeted students with ties to China's military-civil fusion strategy. Supporters called these measures necessary for national security. Critics called them discriminatory and harmful to research. The debate continues. Is this a systematic campaign or an overblown fear? Chinese law can compel citizens to cooperate with state intelligence, fueling suspicion, but proving widespread coordination is difficult. The core question, how do you balance openness with security in an age of superpower rivalry? The answer isn't clear, but the anxiety is real. The idea of a fact-finding mission has changed how many view Chinese students on campus. It's a debate that forces us to rethink the nature of academic exchange. Are we training future partners or future competitors? The stakes are high, and the conversation is far from over. As the US tightens scrutiny, the line between caution and paranoia blurs. The future of international education may depend on where that line is drawn. Why do so many Chinese students come to the US? For decades, American universities have been the gold standard, offering academic freedom, cutting-edge research, and global prestige. A US degree opens doors worldwide and is a mark of achievement in China. These students are diverse, coming from all corners of China with different dreams and backgrounds. Many families make huge sacrifices to send their children here. Most are drawn to STEM and business programs where the US excels. International students, especially from China, are vital to research teams and university budgets. Their tuition and living expenses pump billions into the US economy. In some departments, research would stall without their contributions. Beyond academics, these students build cultural bridges, forming friendships, sharing traditions, and learning about American life. Many return to China with a positive view of the US, becoming leaders and informal ambassadors. The connections they make can ease tensions and foster understanding. This soft power is a strategic asset for America. The presence of Chinese students is about more than economics. It's about influence and global relationships. Their stories are as varied as their ambitions. For most, the goal is simple: learn, grow, and succeed. But their presence now carries geopolitical weight. Espionage concerns aren't just theoretical, there have been real cases. The US Department of Justice has prosecuted individuals for transferring sensitive technology to China. Some cases involve researchers or students with access to valuable intellectual property. One example, Zhao Songjing, a cancer researcher, was caught smuggling biological samples out of Boston in 2019. He planned to continue his research in China, publishing under his own name. Other cases involve China's talent recruitment programs like the Thousand Talents Plan, flagged by US intelligence. These programs can encourage economic espionage and theft of intellectual property. Some US-based researchers have been prosecuted for failing to disclose ties to these programs while receiving federal grants. Still, the number of prosecutions is tiny compared to the total number of Chinese students and researchers. Most are here for legitimate reasons. The challenge: identify bad actors without creating a climate of suspicion. It's a delicate balance between security and scientific progress. The stakes are high for both. The debate over Chinese students is part of a much larger US-China rivalry. Militarily, China's rapid modernization and assertiveness in the South China Sea and Taiwan have put Washington on edge. Politically, the two nations clash over human rights and accusations of interference. Economically, the trade war and accusations of intellectual property theft have deepened mistrust. The race for dominance in AI, 5G, and green energy is fierce. In this context, concerns about Chinese students seem more urgent to some. If China is seen as a strategic adversary, students become potential assets in a larger chess game. Their presence is no longer just about education. It's about global power. The lines between student, researcher, and potential threat blur. Every exchange is now viewed through a geopolitical lens. The stakes extend far beyond the classroom. In response, the US government and universities are tightening security. The FBI now briefs universities on espionage risks and how to protect sensitive research. Grant applicants must disclose all foreign ties, aiming for transparency and accountability. Universities are strengthening export control offices and reviewing partnerships with foreign entities, especially those linked to China's military. These measures are controversial. Some fear they stifle research and fuel racial profiling. University leaders push for targeted, not sweeping policies. They want to protect academic freedom while safeguarding national security. The balance is delicate and the stakes are high. The challenge: keep campuses open and innovative but not naive. The debate is ongoing with no easy answers. At the heart of this issue is a dilemma: openness versus security. America's strength has long been its ability to attract global talent and share ideas freely. This openness fuels innovation and economic growth. But in an era of rivalry with China, openness can be a vulnerability. Research can be exploited, students pressured, and knowledge weaponized. Officials see a system with too few safeguards, clamp down too hard, and America risks losing its edge. Top talent may go elsewhere. Overreact and the US could damage its reputation and soft power. University leaders fear that protecting innovation could end up stifling it. The challenge: screen for threats without discrimination and encourage collaboration without naivety. The decisions made now will shape the future of American science and the US-China relationship. The open door is both a strength and a risk. The world is watching how America responds. The outcome will echo for decades. The debate is polarized. Some, like Brent Sadler, see Chinese students as a national security risk, potential tools of the CCP's military-civil fusion strategy. They argue the US is training its own competitors and call for stricter controls and fewer visas. Others, including universities and business leaders, see Chinese students as essential to research and innovation. They fill labs, drive discoveries, and contribute billions to the economy. Turning them away, they argue, would hurt American science and global standing. This side also values the soft power of cultural exchange. Exposure to American values can foster goodwill and future cooperation. Treating all students as potential spies, they warn, is unfair and short-sighted. The real challenge: find a path that protects security without sacrificing openness. The answer will shape the next era of US-China relations. The stakes couldn't be higher. The US stands at a crossroads. The core issue: how to share and protect knowledge in a competitive world. Expect more targeted policies and tighter security, but also efforts to keep collaboration alive. The challenge: effective safeguards without stifling innovation or creating hostility. The choices made by students, universities, and governments will reshape global education. This is a story of fear and hope, of espionage risk, and the promise of scientific progress. The future of global innovation and the US-China balance hangs in the balance. The world is watching,